and he said, yeah, like even metal bands right now are just traveling t-shirt salesmen because nobody's making money off streams like that, and then these people got to pay their labels and shit. And how do you think they're doing that? Merch sales, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, when they get paid by the venue, but like, who knows how much they got to split. Let's say like for a band, you know what I'm saying? Like there's probably like 5 dudes in a band, and they got to split all that money in between themselves, so it's just like it's funny to see that like we're at a point in time where it's just like the art is again for kind of the people that don't have money, you know what I'm saying, or for the people that have money but don't have money at the same time. Does that make sense? Like
This is SouLivate.
This is where you come to get your soul on. This is the place where you soul off. And this is the only mother stinking place when you never ever soul out. I am your host, NazareN. This is the one, the only SouLivate podcast. Huge shout out to our co-host with the most, Spencer Reese. He's on the hiatus right now. Huge shout out to my co-host up in heaven, Daniel. And today is a special day, y'all. It's a super special day because I am trying to introduce to y'all through this platform someone that soon enough all of y'all gonna hear about, all of y'all gonna see, all of y'all gonna hear about. He is a super talented videographer. He's a super talented producer, and he's an artist himself. But what really made an effect on me when I met this young man is how he carries himself. He's always, on the professional level, he's always professional. On the human level, he's a wonderful, decent human being, and he's a star that's about to be a shooting star. So if y'all blink, y'all might miss it, man. So make sure that y'all are tuning in and you hopping on this train right now, because this train is a bullet train, is speeding by, man.
I appreciate you, bro.
So,
I appreciate you, man.
Without further ado, I have the one, the only. Again, he's an all-around artist. I need y'all to go check out his music. All the links will be in the description. I need y'all to go hit him up for the videos. The one and only Enzo. I'm gonna give you a round of applause,
What's good? Thank you so much, my man. Thank you so much for having me, man. That ass, bro. It means a lot to me, bro. For real. To even have any of those words attached to me is actually like, it really does mean a lot to me.
It's true though. It's true. You know what I thought about, man? I thought about that. I think that if you were like in the middle of LA, or if you were in New York, like, you know what I'm saying? Because even geographically where you are, the moves that you are making and your artistry, like, it's man, it's out of this world, man. Like, it's nothing, it's super fresh, and it's so good to see, you know what I'm saying, a young man of that caliber doing what you're doing and being creative. So I take off my hat. I thank you for being here, man. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Just got back from Kentucky. I was out, as I was saying, before, spent a good 12 days out there. Honestly, I was just there editing for the most part for a good friend of mine, Q and Kurt, two people that I've met through the homie Keenan. And it's only been, like, I believe about to be 2 years now. And, we've just gotten closer and closer and closer, and they gave me the opportunity. So big shout out to them, for that whole opportunity. And then I was able to meet everybody over there, and the people that were working out there in Kentucky. So big shout out to AMS, American Musical Supply, and big shout out to TME, the Music Experience. I wish I remembered the two other. Oh wait, there's Shiprock, and then there's Rockville, and then you got Bourbon and Beyond, and then you got Louder Than Life. This was my first time being on, the two festivals, but I'm hoping to do more with them down the line. Amazing team over there, amazing people, and I love it.
Nice, man. I'm glad that you mentioned that. What's before we get into you, because I
Yeah,
really like
absolutely, absolutely. Go ahead.
the purpose of this is to get your story, because I believe your story needs to be documented. I feel super honored to be, probably one of the first people to do it, man. Because I'm sure, soon enough down the line, DJ Vlad and everybody gonna be hitting you up, Drink Champs and all of that. But while we here, so I want to get your story, but you mentioned Kentucky,
Right.
and again, this shows the type of character that you are. You're not forgetting to shout out your people. What's going on the music tip in Kentucky? What's popping over there? Because
So,
because we usually have East Coast, West Coast, or Midwest down South. What's going on in Kentucky, man?
well, honestly, to be honest with you, I really, like I said, it was my first time ever being in Kentucky for real, for real. Like I've never been in the Midwest at all. It says either been East Coast or West Coast. But I was there for two different types of genres, metal and Bourbon Beyond was kind of like country. Well, I get yeah, I guess like country. I don't know. It was like bourbon related. So I guess you could say like more like Americana type of music. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So all I know is that like on the standpoint of dude, there are some diehard fans out there. There are some very good people out there in Kentucky. So I ain't gonna lie, I didn't have one bad experience with anybody in Kentucky. Everybody over there was just amazing, And then the kind of like the environment was just a good environment. You never felt weird. You never felt. I mean, I was in Louisville, but
Hmm.
I feel like I don't know, like if you're in a metropolitan city and you're able to kind of go anywhere and not feel weird about stuff. I mean, it's always cool, but then again, my first time ever going over there, and never, you feel me. I guess I can't say from experience to be able to do such things, but it was a good time.
Yeah, it's always funny, man, when somebody, what I'm saying, from like the tri-state area goes somewhere like that. You know what I'm saying? We always have like these stories from back in the day of like the Ku Klux Klan and all of
Hey,
that. So you
yo,
you you get out there, you feel weird and shit, but time has changed, man.
yeah, I mean, like, who knows, feel me? Like, I, for all we know, like, there's so much things that they probably just don't tell somebody, you know what I'm
Mm,
saying? But, you could probably have a couple of interactions with people and just be like, all right, yeah, like, something's weird there, but I didn't run into that. Feel
that's
me?
what's up, man.
I feel like I'm not a person that might be prone to that, but,
Nice.
you never know with
Yeah,
nowadays.
you don't
People will
attract
expose
it. That's what it's
anybody.
about. You don't attract that type of energy, man.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I try to focus on. It's just people really can't talk shit to you when you got a smile on your face most of the time, unless they're really cynical. Feel
Yeah,
me?
yeah. That's what's up, man. So listen, you the star of the show. I really want to get your story, man. If you could take us back, where is Enzo from? What was Enzo's childhood like? What were some of your heroes and inspirations during childhood? You know what I'm saying? And eventually I want to get to the point of how you got introduced to music, man.
So I mean, for the most part, for the most part, I was born in Massachusetts in Leominster and or yeah, in Leominster, Fitchburg, and no, Jesus, Leominster, Massachusetts, and I had a short time living in Massachusetts. My mom and my dad kind of split early when I was young,
Sorry to hear
so moved over. You know what I'm saying? My mom moved over to New Jersey, and then I had my stepdad. Um, Kind of moved us out there. So then, or out here. So I lived in New Jersey from like, 6 years old to about 16. But in my childhood, to be honest with you, my main idols, if you want me to be for real with you, bro, like was SpongeBob, bro. And I think
that.
that's why I'm for real mad fucking, you feel me? Like it makes a lot of
Mhm.
sense, bro. Like he was going to work every day with a smile on his face.
Shit.
He loved his job, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Now don't get me wrong, the dude was a little, you feel me, but it's all right though, you feel me? He
Mhm.
he got to work every day, he got his paycheck. And at the end of the day, he had all his friends around him. Everybody, loved him and hated him at the same time. But it's all right. Feel me? I mean, as I grew older, I started looking more into YouTube. YouTube started getting bigger. And then that's when you had Freddie Wong. Like, I don't know if you know who Freddie Wong is, but
Of course,
Freddie
man.
You feel me? Freddie Wong, Corridor Digital, all them motherfuckers, and that got me into just YouTube, into just like downloading After Effects and
How old were you, man,
oh,
during
this
that?
was like what? This was 2011, so like 9, 10, 9,
Wow,
10.
early. Oh
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, like you can ask a couple of my homies, man. Like we used to run around the neighborhood. I used to just like have like a phone or like a camera or some bullshit, bro. And then we would just like have BB guns, and then I would just like try to make some dumbass bullshit that I'll never even like edit or anything. Like we'll just fuck around for the day,
So
and
you
then
were born for this shit.
yeah, I mean, I was born to do something, man. I mean, I don't know what I was born for, but I was born to, what I'm saying, make something at least, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I got so many different baskets that I put eggs in, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's I don't know. It just I guess makes me help sleep better at night, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's really important. At some point, at some point in the career of an artist, of a journey of an artist, to be able to, tell us, be vulnerable and tell us the story. I think that's when, a true artist shines and everything, man. And I know you're, what I'm saying, you're super honest, man. So like, I really want to get an idea for myself and for the people. What would you say your childhood was like, as far as like, what was the neighborhood that you grew up in? Like, what I'm saying, was it a tough childhood? Was it an easy childhood? Like, what
So
were some of your traumas, dramas, some shit like that that you could give us, you know what I mean?
so I mean, if you want me to be real, like where I grew up, it wasn't crazy. Like I didn't grow up in the in the projects
In
and
the
nothing like
PJs,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, feel me. But I kind of live, I guess you could say, in a place where it wasn't really projects, but like the economy wasn't the best either.
Mm,
The only thing is that, feel me, my brother was the one who really got the short end of the stick on that end, because when my mom came here, she brought my brother over here, and you know what I'm saying, first time, both of them are immigrants. I'm a
yeah.
first generation American type deal.
Mm,
So my brother definitely had it harder than me. He was in the projects. You know what I'm saying? But by the time that I was born, my mom had a construction company with my pops, and she was able to, you feel me, just
nice.
be able to get by. They was able to get by better than most people, you could say. But after they got divorced and all that kind of went away. So we went into, I don't think it was low income housing, to be honest with you, but
Mhm.
I honestly don't know. I never really asked a lot of questions like that. All I know is that after a while, we didn't live in that apartment anymore. We started going to, what I'm saying, my grandma's house, or what I'm saying, stuff like that. And then after a while, we went straight to New Jersey. So well, I'm sorry, that was reverse. We was, moving around from my grandma's house, sleeping at my grandma's house, and other relatives, and then we've gone to the apartment, and then we went to New Jersey shortly after that, like around 2007, 2008.
Got you, man. Yeah, that's what's up, man. Like, my mom's is my hero, what I'm saying, in life, man, because I'm an immigrant myself, and the journey for immigrants is not an easy one. That's why when a lot of times, what I'm saying, we see on the news like them talking about immigrants are committing crimes and they
Oh
getting
God,
deported. It's like, bro, we don't come here to commit crimes, bro. Like, it's a long journey that we
bro,
you know what I'm saying, we do to make it here. So once we're here, like, we try to, what I'm
make the
saying, do
best of it.
everything. Yeah, legit P's and Q's, you know what I mean? So like, it's funny, but I want to give, what I'm saying, props to your mom and to your family, man.
I give
Um,
him props as well. I give him props every day, man. That shit was not easy for them.
That's what's up, brother. That's what's up. So you're a kid. You're like 9, 10 years old. You're running around with your homies. YouTube is popping, man. You're already trying to, like, what I'm saying, do some videos. What were you influenced by as far as music during that time?
So if you want me to be honest, was just whatever YouTube was kind of recommending a motherfucker on the front page. Like that's honestly how I got my, I guess you could say, my taste for music, because like my taste for music isn't just strictly rap or like
Mhm.
drill music or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it really started off with, like, for real, like old time like rock music, like AC/DC, and you know what I'm saying, all that crazy
Wow.
shit. Because at that time, feel me, you had these like bands and shit that just started off, you know, posting their songs on YouTube. You feel me? YouTube just now like started doing music videos and all this bullshit. So it was, you know, recommending shit right there on the front page or whatever when, you know, it started going. This was like 2000, like I said, 2008, 2009. But this is when like you still could have friends on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And like you got a rating on YouTube and shit. So it's like you go ahead and then Vivo just started. I swear this is like 2009 around there. But Vivo starting up, and then let the body set the flow. That song, bro. That song was on like every tutorial, every video that you can imagine was what had that song playing in the background. So like I always liked rock. I always liked like pop and shit like that. When you know, yeah, when more people started, you feel me, posting their music on YouTube is when I started getting more. I remember when like Party Rock Anthem in 2012 when that shit came out, you know what I'm saying? I ain't get that from, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have a phone, you feel me? So I had a computer though. So, you know, I went and I got it off of YouTube, you feel me? That's what was popping. Now what got me into producing, more to say, was when I would do my YouTube videos, like everybody would talk about like royalty free music and shit. And, you know, I was like, nah, like, you know, why do royalty free music when I could just, you know, make my own shit? You feel me? And then, you know, I could never find royalty free. Like you either had to pay for the service. And then obviously I'm fucking 12 years old. How the fuck am I about to do that? So, you know, I got myself a copy of FL Studio. And then I just started trying. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. What I first tried was this thing in old Windows 8.1 laptops, which was it's just called like it's like DJ Mixer or some shit. I forgot what it was. It was like a program where like I got put on to this by the homie Sancio. Shout out Sancio. I don't know if you're ever gonna watch this. But he put me on to this program, and it like it's kind of like a STEM type of thing where like it uses like stems of different things, and like you could put them like to make different songs out of the same, you know, sounds and shit like that. So like you can have like a snap, you can have like 5 different snaps and like 5 different pianos or some shit, and you could like mix all of them together if you wanted to, you know what I'm saying? So something like that. I didn't fuck with that because I was like, damn, I want to make my own sounds and shit, you know what I'm saying? I want to, you know, have it go my way. And so that's when I started getting into you know, finding other DAWs. I then got Reaper. I'm pretty sure you know Reaper, but fucking Reaper's okay. I just couldn't understand it. I didn't like the layout. And then I think I couldn't really, you know, do anything musical with it. I think it's mostly for recording from what I know. And then I go and stumble upon FL. So then I grabbed FL, started getting, you know, into producing and shit like that. Obviously the beats and all that were buns at, you know, in the beginning, as they usually are. But
so you started, I'm sorry for cutting you off. You started
you
producing before you even tried writing a song as far as lyrics and all that?
Yes. I never liked the let's say writing as much as I did until like 8th grade, 9th grade. Because at that point, for me, writing, like I like math more than writing, because math at that point in time for me, like at school, like math was the easy shit. Writing was the shit that I had to really like use my brain for, you know? So like math, like I knew what these, you know, theorems and fucking blah blah was. So I just, you know, add these numbers up. 5 numbers is still less things to write than a fucking, you know what I'm saying, 2-page essay, you know what I'm saying?
That actually means you have an analytical mind, man.
Right. So that was basically the process back in the day. Now, you know, I actually have like now I could write all day, you know, like I could write a book if I wanted to. The thing is now is formulating my thoughts in a cohesive and comprehensible, you know, way, you feel me? In a way that ties into what I'm talking about, making sure I'm not going off topic, which I tend to do a lot. I think, you know, it's a problem that I have, you know, not being able to stay on one.
We all do it, bro. We all do it. Sometimes the most beautiful shit comes out of that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know, nah, that is though. I mean, like being, I guess, I mean, I guess you could call it like fucking, what is it? Neuroplasticity.
ADD?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, ADD, yeah, ADHD. I got, you know what I'm saying? Don't know what HD is, but I got 80 of them bitches. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. I got you, man. When you started messing around with producers, I mean, producing yourself, and like you're super young, you're 12 years old, you're trying all of these different programs and everything. You're preteen and then teen. What sound were you listening to? Because you already had this like sort of baggage, like you said. You know, you weren't in a box. You liked rock, you liked pop, you like. But when you actually started, you know, messing around and trying to produce beats yourself and producing them yourself, who were some of the producers that you were listening out to and while you're trying to find your sound, man?
So, right, if you want me to be honest, the first producer that I ever tried to be like was Metro Boomin, man. Metro Boomin was the
Of
first ever
course.
rapper that, you know what I'm saying, rapper, the first ever producer that was like popping when I was trying to make beats, at least that was really popping, was Metro Boomin. And that's who I gotta give my props to, even getting me into, you know what I'm saying, producing. When he did that tutorial on FL Studio, bro, I was like, oh yeah, nah, I'm able to do this as well, you know.
Hmm.
But you know, you had Sunny Digital, you had Murder Beats, you even had I knew, dude, I watched Internet Money before they blew up, bro. I
Hmm.
was there at 10K, bro. I was there at 5K, bro. No bullshit, bro. Like I was there before. I was there when they was dropping fucking Juice World's music on their page. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that, dude, that was a good time, man. But
Yeah.
those were some of the, you know what I'm saying, big guys that I was looking up to at the time, that I was like, all right, yeah, these guys are gonna go somewhere, or these guys, you know what I'm saying, are kind of the sound that I want, and like the, not just the sound, but like almost kind of like the, how do I say, the style, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the way it's like you could tell every producer has like their signature, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pharrell with his, you know, bun, bun, bun,
Mhm.
bun, and then you got, you know what I'm saying, everybody got their tags or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck, but like I feel like every producer has their own style when it comes to stuff, you know, like
Yeah.
they have that one little gimmick, that, or that one little thing that they always, you know, add on. And that's something that I always, you know, appreciated of them, that they always left the
Mm.
signature or style, kind of like Timbaland, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Everybody always had like their flair to shit, that you can just tell that they had to be behind that beat. That even if they don't got the tag on there, and even though they don't got that one thing, you just know, like, nah, they touched that some way, somehow, you know?
Mm. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioning some of the legendary cats. You know what I'm saying? A lot of time, like the young people, they forget to give props for the people that came before them, man. Um, Before I ask you about some of your favorite artists, man, that because that's what I want to ask you about that. But before I do, SouLivate, like this is what I'm thinking, right? And I'm wondering, like, where do you think you got this creative gene in you, so to speak? Like, was there music in your household prior
Oh,
to
well,
YouTube?
oh,
And like, what
yeah.
was that like, man?
Oh, dude. Well, I mean, you know, I'm Dominican, so like when I tell you that there was music everywhere, there
Mm,
was music everywhere. Like there, I don't think there's one day where I still don't go a day without listening to music. In terms of, you know, my mom always got some music playing while she's cleaning or cooking and shit, you know.
mhm,
But bachata has got to be the biggest staple in my life ever. Now, don't get me
right,
wrong, I may not, like, I don't know a lot of lyrics by heart. I mean, you know,
mhm,
Spanish is I call it my first and second language, because it's what I grew up speaking. But
mhm.
you know, once I like started going to school and shit like that, I really started neglecting you know, my Spanish for real,
Yeah,
for
if you
real.
don't use it all the time, you start,
Yeah,
losing a
you're
little
losing
bit.
it.
We
Yeah,
happens to all of us, man. Yeah.
you know what I mean? So like that started, you know, like you know, messing me up a lot, in terms of, you know, when I would go to you know, back to DR, and you know what I'm saying, talk to my cousins and shit like that. That used to always, that was starting to become a problem. But I, concerning the music, I was always fond of it. My mom, you know, tells me to this day that there was songs like on CDs that I would tell her to like keep on loop, or you know,
Mm,
stuff like this, you know, or stuff like that, you know. And I always just like bachata always, and merengue too. Like there's just always been some fire music that's always been so serenading, always so good, always performed well.
Soulful, man. Yeah.
Exactly. My mom was also a big fan of Christina Aguilera too. I think she had one of her CDs and shit like
Yeah,
that.
that's a diva, bro.
Yeah, you feel me? So, I grew up on that one as well. Um,
That's
let
what's
me
up. So
see.
you had music around you, man. Because I was
Yeah,
about to
yeah.
say, like, it's only once in a billion years that someone will get all of these, like prodigy, like creative genes the way you do, because you're so multifaceted, man. So it's interesting to hear that maybe even in your subconsciousness, as you were a little kid running around, there was always, always motion, man, always the vibe. You know what I mean?
And I'm not gonna lie, just like seeing others as well, just create stuff at the time, just definitely, um, like growing up more and more, like turning 12, 13, and seeing that everybody like everybody could do what they want and have
Mm,
fun, and you know what I'm saying, have a good time, and still, make a career out of things. You feel me?
yes.
It's always
Yes.
always stuff like
That's
that.
beautiful, man. Like one thing I told my wife, because I told her you were gonna be on yesterday. So me and her were walking around, and I told her one thing that really impressed me about you is how CEO and business minded you are. A short story. I asked Enzo to help us out with one of the first SouLivate episodes when we were doing live, and we had a transaction, and he sent me an invoice, and I just remember, maybe it's to some people it's like whatever, it's an invoice, but to me it really showed me that you have that CEO mindset, you know what I'm saying, that you do have that boss mentality, and you like to have things on paper. It's a great practice, trust me, to someone that has had businesses in the past and everything, for you to be a young man like that, you know what I'm saying, and you're not coming out of Wall Street, suburban, like, what I'm saying, like first class
Bugging.
American life, and for you to have that, it's very impressive, and I appreciated that about you. I was just talking to my wife about it yesterday, man.
Good. Like I said, bro, I'm glad that it's good conversations, right? Like it's good things that you're able to say about me. You feel me? And not like, yeah, this dude was a fucking terrible guy to work with. You know what I'm saying? Absolute prick. Like that's what I worry about the most. Because at the end of the day, like you can feel whatever you want about me if you don't know me. I could give
Mhm.
a rat's ass, but if I work with you and I'm supposed to provide a service, or provide for the most part, at least a human decency, then that's what at least I want to be known for. That's at least.
Listen, from the human perspective, like, you could be an awesome person, which you are, but then there's the professional and the business side. Sometimes people either crisscross those two things or neglect
Mhm.
one and do the other one too much. So,
Right.
and I appreciated that about you, that you had those barriers and borders, and you were able to do all of those things, to the full maximum, man.
Exactly.
So you're a teenager, you're producing, you know what I'm saying, like YouTube is becoming, because around that time it was becoming what we will get to know YouTube as, now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, right, because YouTube was much different. I remember when it first popped off at like 2005, 2006, it was a completely different platform. So you told us about some of the producers. What were some of your favorite artists during that time that you were looking at? Not only like, oh, it's hot music, but someone that you seen like, oh, this is the type of star that maybe I could, emulate, and maybe I could try to do something like that.
So I grew up listening to, for the most part, around that time when I was producing. I really like Chief Keef. I know when Migos came out with Bad and Bougie, I listened to that whole freaking to their whole discography, like
Yeah.
Cocoon. I remember Highway 95. That was a big favorite of mine. I still watch that fake music video to this day. If you know, you know. I know when Famous Dexter and Rich the Kid was a duo type shit,
Mm,
I was listening to them a lot. Um, I know that who I really resonated the most with though
mhm.
was really Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne
Wow.
always been my guy, bro. Has always been my goat. I and especially when when he teams up with Eminem, bro,
Mm.
it's always a fire song. You know what I'm saying? Always a fire song. Just now people want to shit on his, his new Johns. What I honestly personally haven't had the time to listen to his newest drop, and that's just because me personally, recently I really don't be listening to music a lot. Like I don't have time to, plug in some headphones and,
Right.
put on a playlist anymore. But
I feel you on that. Yeah.
like I'm really just walking around, and then when I do hear music, it's like my own. So, but I know like just Nightmares from the Bottom will forever be my like theme song. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? That will always be my theme song in life. So, I know I of course I've listened to, like some West Coast music as well, like, some Dr. Dre, some Snoop Dogg, but like I really just know the mainstream bullshit. And then like even any like any other ones, I'm not really too let's say cultured on, but that's something that I'm still trying to do better on. I really fuck with Ice Cube more than
Wow.
anything from the West Coast scene, but
Crazy.
I guess people beg to differ on that.
Shout out to Ice Cube, man. Shout
Yeah,
out
man.
to Ice Cube.
No Vaseline, still one of the hardest diss tracks ever, man.
That's crazy, man. It's trust me, man, it touches my heart. Someone your generation knowing, you know what I'm saying, about this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful, man. So it's what I want to know. So, like, obviously, you're a teenager now, you're producing. I'm
Mm.
guessing you starting to, write. Do you remember when was the first time you actually sat down and wrote a song?
Yeah, so the first time that I wrote a song was 2017, and it was called Stop It.
Hmm.
And this was when oh my god, this is when fucking you could say anything into a microphone, bro. Like
Right.
no bullshit, bro. Like I don't even think I wrote too much. Like I think I wrote like 8 lines, and just, you know what I'm saying, recorded that shit into FL Studio into my snowball mic,
Mhm.
and called it a day after that. But I mean, from what I know, it was garbage, or from what I think it was garbage. I'm sorry. But I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't anything insightful. The first time that I wrote something that like actually, needed thought,
Mhm.
I'd say was probably a little bit more down the line. I think Chicago. I think actually no. Yeah, I'd say Chicago. Never mind, Chicago.
Got you. That's the name of the track.
Yeah, name of the track.
Got you. Got you. So okay, so this what I'm interested in. And I want to pick your brain because you know what I'm saying, because you're an artist. So I want to ask you about a bunch of people, man. But so when did you transition from like this is a hobby to like, yo, this is something that I want to do professionally? Like this is the course of life that I want to take.
So honestly, like so when it came out to like actually no, when I moved out to Arizona, and I was actually, like, I met a couple friends down there, and I was just, just doing shit. Honestly, I was just making beats, recording, and at the time, like in Arizona, just I guess just having a microphone and knowing how to do that shit, just everybody was just like, oh nah, like you're him type shit.
Hmm.
And so there was, there was just days where I'd go to a homie DJ's crib. Shout out DJ, fucking realest native homie I think I've ever had in my life. Dude would, have, all of us in there. I'd be making beats, recording people in that bitch. We'd be freestyling, buns ass freestyles, but we was freestyling,
Mhm.
and having a good time, feel me. And then after that, I saw kind of like, oh shit, like yo, like being a rapper is like low key fun, or
Mhm.
like doing this is low key fun, and even though like it's, oh, like you're with the homies and shit, but like I was like, yo, like imagine if we actually could make some good music, like imagine if I actually could do something with this motion that
Mhm.
was being made. And it got to like me upgrading shit. I was getting monitors. I was getting fucking. I got my first interface, and then bam bam. I tried recording people, like mixing and engineering people, and I was all right, you know what I'm saying. I did okay. Some of the songs I did were good, and then some of the other songs, like, I was inconsistent, you know, so that was the issue. But then I was getting a little buzz out there in Arizona. I opened up for a couple of artists, opened up for Polo G.
Nice.
And then I think El Pipasso. Wow. And then I me, the homie AZ Capone, you got the homies back with Russ, YNG, OIG. You got, you know what I'm saying? They all out there doing their thing right now. Shout out to them. I hope they doing good, man. I just seen them in April. And at that, like, we was getting a little wave out there and shit like that. And I was like, oh yeah, now like this solidified. Like I like whatever, like this whole like industry type shit, like I need to be in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's not me rapping, if it's not me producing, if it's not
Something.
me, yeah, it's gonna be something. Like, I wanna at least have say so in this culture. You know what I'm saying? I wanna be there for whatever, you know what I'm saying, comes with it, with the ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? With the, everybody's saying, rap's dead right now, and this that. In the videographer community, I got, I see people all the time talking about, oh, like, videos are dying, like there's no creativity in it, and this that. Like, it's that's something that we could talk about, a whole nother day. But it's shit like that. You feel me?
Yeah, man. So, do you remember if you had the conversation with yourself, like that honest conversation, like, look, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life? Or did you tell yourself, like a lot of us do, like, if I don't make it by 25, 30, whatever, then I'm gonna do something else? Like, do you remember having that, or did you know right away, like, yo, this is my life, that's it?
Nah, yeah. So, like, I've had that conversation a lot with when not just myself, but like a lot of homies that I have in those circles. It's sometimes, like, I be talking, I be trying to break it down, like, realistically. You feel me? Because, like, I'm already 23. Feel me? And I'd like to I'd say that all my friends around me are roughly the same age as me. But we don't have a lot of time. There's not much time left for us to, for real, fuck around. You feel me? And as I will say that a lot of the people that, you feel me, blow up or, make it big or whatever young, you know what I'm saying, you could say they had backing and they had this, they had that. That's still stuff that we don't have. You feel me? On top of the time that we don't have. So we either have to, work extra harder for the things that we want, or we have to, you know what I'm saying, kind of, pack it up and hang that jersey up. You feel me? Thing is that, sometimes, even if you feel that you got to hang that jersey up, sometimes you got to keep playing. You got to pull a LeBron type shit. You feel me? You got to, or hit a Tom Brady. Feel me? Got to hit a little fake out, come back, but I do believe that, fame or success isn't on a timer. You feel me? But I do think that certain things that you may be trying to do, you should maybe face them differently. You know what I'm saying?
We're on God's time. See, this is the thing. I'm sorry for interrupting you, man.
Yeah,
But like,
you good.
Something that I had to learn, that we are in God's time. A lot of time we think that, like, oh, this will be good here, or this will be bad there, and it's
Exactly.
because we don't see what's in
The
front
bigger
of us.
picture.
We don't see the bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? And once it comes, you're like, oh shit, I wouldn't have had it any other way. You know what I'm saying?
Literally, it's just like, well, damn, like, my impatient ass probably should have just trusted that shit. Just should have went. You see, like, I like saying going with the flow, but like, you don't want to get taken by the current either. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you just gotta be there, but then, like, don't be there too much type shit. You feel me? It's like, live in the moment, but don't live in the moment too much, because then you just get lost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I had this conversation with Spence, because he was like, having a little artistic battle with himself, you know what I'm saying? Where you want to be an artist, but then you got to pay the bills. We all face this, you know what I'm
Oh yeah,
saying?
every
So
artist is broke, man. Even Da
yeah,
Vinci.
and I lost a lot of years by doing something else. And look, I made a bunch of money, but I was miserable. So You know what I'm saying? A lot of times they'll say, yo, that's a cliche story, whatever. It really happened. Money is not going to make you happy if you're not living your purpose, man. But what I was telling Spence is that, you know, when you're an artist, you kind of have to realize that, look, I'm not like anyone else. I'm a little crazy. My lifestyle is crazy. And you really have to have that honest conversation with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That
will
is
I do this for the rest of my life until, like, you know, get rich or die trying? Or, you know what I'm saying, I don't have it in me, man. And it's better for me to stop right now, because I think that if you are on this journey and you know that you will do this regardless, then you have to tell yourself, like, yo, I'm doing this shit regardless. You know what I'm saying? And
not that ass.
yeah, man, it's you know, it's not an easy conversation. It's not easy in the world that we're living in, because again, you know, you got bills, you got family, you got people that you know what I'm saying, you need to support and everything. But
You know, it's
right.
funny, and I'm sorry to cut you off. You know, like it's literally something that I was just speaking right now with the homie Squiggy from TME in Kentucky, and I asked him just straight up. I was like, hey man, like, I was like, you know, a lot of people would say that, you know, the entertainment business is dying, you know, and he said, yeah, you know, like even metal bands right now are just traveling t-shirt salesmen because, you know, nobody's making money off streams like that. And then these people got to pay their labels and shit. And how do you think they're doing that? Merch sales, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, when they get paid by the venue, but like, you know, who knows how much they got to split. Let's say like for a band, you know what I'm saying? Like there's probably like 5 dudes in a band, you know, and they got to split all that money in between themselves, you know. So it's just like it's funny to see that like we're at a point in time where it's just like the art is again for kind of the people that don't have money, you know what I'm saying, or for the people that have money but don't have money at the same time. Does that make sense?
Makes
Like
absolute sense. Yeah.
you know, like it's for the rich people to watch but the actors not to get paid. Does that, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's now, before where the entertainment, we were getting to the point where entertainment could be in the hands, or let's just say music could be in the hands of the, you know, creator, you know, by the CDs or by the records, blah blah. And yeah, it could be labeled, blah blah, but the people that had their own CDs, that was all their bread, you feel me? They own their masters and all that, you feel me, blah blah. But now with the streams, everything's free, you feel me? Or technically free, you feel me? You don't need to buy Spotify Premium to listen to those songs, you know. So
There's ways, there's a lot of ways that the industry got also good, because you have all this the shit that we didn't have back in the day. You would have to go
yeah,
to Times Square and hand out your CDs and shit. Right now you can get a fan base in Russia or
instant,
Slovakia and shit. You know what I'm
instant.
saying? And you can actually push your product independently. But you make a great point, which leads me to a question that I've been asking everybody, man. You know what I'm saying? From some of the spiritual leaders to some of the rock and roll legends that we had been blessed to have on the podcast. To everybody, I want to ask you. I really want to know your opinion, because I respect your mental space. So because it leads to what you were talking about. What do you think about AI in the present day of creativity, man?
You see, that's funny because that's